Good morning, folks. Today we are continuing from yesterday's laptop, and that is where we were communicating with the backend part. Today, my throat is kind of shaky, so please don't mind me. So, here in this section, we are continuing extracting communication with the backend into a separate module. The app component has become somewhat bloated after adding the code for communicating with the backend server in the spirit of the single responsibility principle. What is that? Hmm, I don't know, so I will just summarize. Summarize this page for me, in which what exactly mean by single responsibility principle. Let's see. Here is clear summary of the single responsibility principle from the page you are viewing. A module should be responsible to one and only one actor. Okay, so it was like function should kind of like working on just uh, one feature or something like that. I am not able to put into the words, but I am kind of understanding this. What does that mean? Single responsibility himself. Function will should do always one job, not multiple jobs. That is kind of the intention behind this line. So we deem it wise to extract this communication into its own module. Let's create src services directory and add a file called notes.js. Let's do this. In my part 2, inside src, let's create services, and inside that, let's create add a file there called notes. So inside that, I will have my notes.js. Here I have, and inside that I will put this file. What it is, I'm importing Axios and I have some base URL for that. Actually, let me also run npm run server. So I'm running server here, cd part 2 npm run there. Yeah, now it's look perfect. Okay. I think I fixed that issue, but let's see, let me quickly do that. It was something to do with hmm. So log is fulfilled. Uh, it should run at one time, and just let me go back and load this. Uh, not inside main, but notes, I guess. Fix note. Yeah, this one, notes render issue. Okay, I was function passing, but I have to call function calling. Yeah, so let's say fix a render issue, fix notes render issue. Uh, I think. Well, let's see. It is a complete application, but I was thinking of merging the nodes branch into main. I mean, it should be fine if I can. Then I can on the from the last command I can directly just copy paste the files. Yeah, that should do the job. Fixed render issue and added new nodes.js file. So main. Okay, now commits from the main branch. Okay, this will fix my render issue. Hmm. So let's see inside my notes file. I have an Axios importing and there is a base URL and I have three function which named are get all, create and update. Basically it has something to do with CRUD operation. So get all does is return axios.get base URL. Create does is axios.post base URL and new object. We are passing the new object as an argument. From the update, it's same. So for which uh, nodes we are updating. Hmm. So yeah, that and all we are doing is we are exporting them. Hello, hello. Yeah. Let's see. What is next? The module return an object that has three functions: get all, create, and update as its properties that deal with nodes. The functions directly return the promise written by the Axios methods. The app component uses import to get access to the module. Okay, inside my app component, what they do is import node. The function of the module can be used directly with the imported variable node service as follows. I see. So inside my use effect, all I have to do is just change. Let's say I do not like this as I have been told. What I would like to do is inside this object, I will have my node services and I will have dot get all. Then I will have my response. What I will do is set nodes this response dot data. Let's see what changes that did occur. Nothing. Okay. Now inside my toggle importance of function, I think it is not inside this. So let me copy the last this file, this commit, and inside that commit, I will have my apps component fully. Let me browse the file for this specific commit. Inside src inside main.jsx. Let me quickly inside this whole const. Uh, Let me do this. Okay. So this should do the job, I guess. What they are doing is node service get all dot then response set nodes response node data, and inside this one as well, a toggle importance of, they want me to update this axios with node service. So what I'm doing basically is inside the node service I'm updating passing the ID, and I have passing the changed node. Then in response I'm doing this, and inside the add node, inside the add node, mm, node for this axios I'm using this. Okay. This should, let's see. I'm getting one error here saying Axios is not mandatory. Let's say we could take our implementation a step further. When the application component uses the function, it receives an object that contains the entire response for the HTTP request. Node service get all, then response, something like this. Okay, let me see how our code is. So, let's see. React is fun to learn. Uh, it's not my forte. Yeah. So I do something like this. Wait a minute. Site is I think in my component, right? Inside this node component. Yeah, right. This one. My node component. It should be updated as well. Okay. So let's see. Let me comment it a bit. Here's my TV change, and let's see. Add node service. App component only uses the response.data property of the response object. The module would be much nicer to use if instead of the entire HTTP response, we would only get the response data. Using the module would then look like this. So, initial node, add initial node inside the get. We can achieve it by changing the code in the module as follows. The current code contains some copy paste, which we will tolerate that for now. So, what they want me to do is directly sending inside my nodes get all. Uh, I have a request. I have a request. Access code base URL. Then I am returning request dot then. So I'm directly returning the data. So inside my app.jsx, wherever I am using node services, I just have to the initial nodes, and I think I'm good to go. Yep. So even in my, let's say, get off function is done. Even in my create function, let's say uh, 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 so I guess even in my create function, I have to change back to new no, no this uh no create their nodes, their nodes. Yes, this should absolutely work. And in my handle importance of where I am getting this response back, I will say updated nodes. And in my data, let's see updated nodes. Let's see if I am not wrong, then everything should work exactly as it's before. Make important, show important this one, and let's say uh GraphQL is kinda complex now, and let me make it not important. Now it's make important. Okay, so so far everything is good, looking good. So let's see if we can if I can add an edit button to edit these things. Um, mm, we no longer return the promise returned by access directly. Instead, we assign the promise to the request variable and call its then method. The last row in our function is simply a more compact expression of the same code as shown below. For example, inside my get all request dot then response return response data. Yeah, the modified get all function still returns a promise as the then method of promise also returns a promise. Promise also returns a promise. After let's see. So even if we do something like this, at the end of the day, we are all getting the promise. After defining the parameter of the then method to directly return response to data, we have gotten the get all function to work like we wanted it to. When the HTTP request is successful, the promise returns the data sent back in the response from the backend. We have to update the app component to work with the changes made to our module. We have to fix the callback function given as parameters to the node service objects method so that they use the directly return response data. Okay, I already did this. I updated all that. This is all quite complicated, and attempting to explain it may just make it harder to understand. The internet is full of material discussing that topics such as this promise chaining. Yeah, I know promise chaining. Like inside this 10, then actually it's something like this. This is really one of the like a concept which is quite important. And this javascript.info is really something else. I mean, it has all the things that needs promise sync await, promise API, microtask. Let's say uh, the async and performance book from You Do Not Know JS book series explain this topic. I think it was a GitHub. Yeah, You Don't Know JS explains the topic promises. Promises are central to modern JavaScript development, and it is highly recommended to invest a reasonable amount of time into understanding them. Okay, understood. I'll do that. Cleaner syntax for defining object literals. Okay, this is good. But before that, let's have a 5 minute break. Side side. Let's have actually quick break of 5 minutes. So, hello, hello, hello. Okay, let's go back. Let's pause this and get back to our work. So, we were here inside this cleaner syntax for defining object literals. The module defining node related services currently exports an object with the properties get all, create, and update that are assigned to function for handling nodes. The module definition was something like this. Yep. Cleaner syntax for defining object literals. Okay. The module exports the following rather peculiar looking object. Yeah. So I have my doubts about this as well. Like, what exactly is this? Because all we can do something like this: export const get all. So I think they might get all this. But let's see. The labels to the left of the column. This one definition are the keys of the object, whereas the ones in the right are variables that are defined inside the module. Okay. Since the names of the keys and the assigned variables are the same, we can write the object definition with a more compact syntax. So we can do something like this. But before that, let me actually comment this out. Uh, add update nodes functions to return data directly the PSO main. Okay, so now let's see inside this. I will have my get all, then have create, then have update. Uh, cleaner import. Sorry, export nodes functions. PSO main. The labels to the okay. As a result, the module definition gets simplified into the following form. Yep. In defining the object using this shorter version notation, we make use of new features. And what is that? I would like to know. It has something called object initialization. So, such a fancy terms. So what exactly does this? I have an object and I'm console accessing the object's a property. I'm not understanding it. Let's get rid of this. That was introduced to JavaScript through ES6, enabling a slightly more complex way of defining object using variables. To demonstrate this feature, let's consider a situation where we have the following values assigned to variables. Let's say const name Levi, const age 0. In older version of JavaScript, we had to define an object like this. Yep. However, since both the property fields and the variable names in the object are the same, it's enough to simply write the following in ES6 JavaScript like this. The result is identical for both expressions. They both create an object with a name property with the value Levi and an age property with the value 0. Promise and errors. If our application allowed user to delete nodes, we could end up in a situation where a user tries to change the importance of a node that has already been deleted from the system. User tries to change the Let's stimulate this situation by making the getAll function of the nodes service return a hard-coded node that does not actually exist on the backend. Okay, Let's do this. So all I have to do is inside my get all, inside this get all, I'm just adding another known existing object which has ID this. Da-na-na. So no, what did I? This is not saved to server. Okay, this one. When caught is a request failed status code 404. When we try to change the imports of the hard-coded node, we see the following error message in the console. The error says that the backend server responded to our import request with the status code 404 not found. The application should be able to handle these types of error situation gracefully. Users wouldn't be able to tell that an error has occurred unless they happen to have their console open. The only way the error can be seen in the application is that clicking the button does not affect the node's importance. We had previously mentioned that a promise can be in one of the three different states. When in like pending, fulfill, and rejected. When an Axios HTTP request fails, the associated promise is rejected. Our current code does not handle this rejection in any way. Yeah, right. Like I haven't used any kind of if and else in them. The rejection of promise is handled by providing the then method with a second callback function, which is catch. So let's say the more way of adding handler reject promise is to use catch. In practice, the error handler for rejected promise is defined like this. Then catch. Let's say then uh something like this I can do if I am allowed to do. Inside this, I will pass my error and I will say console log error, console log error. Um, mhm, mhm. So inside this, I will have get all function promise error, something like this. And actually, let's add no, rather than add, let's see, let's look at the current code. So if I do, okay, it didn't console log it. Dot then dot catch error. Let's see, what am I doing wrong here? Is that I have to do something like this? And let me again check it. Nope, nope, it's not working. If the request fails, the event has registered with the catch method gets called. The catch method is often utilized by placing it deeper within the promise chain. Okay. When multiple down methods are chained together, we are in fact creating a promise chain. Let's say the the catch method can be used to define a handler function at the end of a promise chain, which is called once any promise in the chain throws an error and the promise becomes rejected. Let's take uh, advantage of this feature. We will place our application's error handler in the app component. Okay, so I was making this is, I mean, right, but I have to use inside the dot then, and let's say catch bypass error. So and I will pass by error. Now let's see if I get what I want. Okay, I get it. Excuse error request failed with status code 404. The node was already deleted from the server. So inside this catch, they want me to do something like this. Okay, and now they want a file of me. The node, this is not was already deleted from the server. Okay, okay. The error message is displayed to the user with the trusty old alert dialog pop-up, and the deleted nodes get filtered out from the state. Okay, so it just perfect. So inside the set nodes should be filtered. Does not match in the ID. Let's commit this. Hmm. Handling error in nodes. Okay. It's probably not a good idea to use alert in more serious React application. We will soon learn a more advanced way of displaying message and notification to users. There are situations, however, where a simple battle-tested method like alert can function as a starting point. A more advanced method could always be added in a later, given that there is a time and energy for it. Okay, now we are in some kind of oath, full stack developers oath. It is again time for the exercises. The complexity of our application is now increasing, since besides just taking care of the React components in the front end, we also have a backend that is persisting the application data. To cope with the increasing complexity, we should extend the web developers oath to a full stack developers oath, which reminds us to make sure that the communication between front end and backend happens as expected. So here is the updated route. Full stack development is extremely hard, and that is why I will use all the possible means to make it easier. I will have my browser developer console open all the time. I will use the network tab for the browser dev tools to ensure that front end and back end are communicating as expected. I will constantly keep an eye on the state of the server to make sure that the data sent there by the front end is saved there as I expect. I will progress with small steps. I will write lots of console.log statements to make sure I understand how the code behaves and to help pinpoint problems. If my code does not work, I will not write more code. Instead, I start deleting the code until it works or just return to a state when everything was still working. When I ask for help in the code's Discord channel, okay. Finally, I think we have three exercises here. Let's clear them all. Let's do this. The phone book step 7. I have to work in a phone book. Let's go and change the repository to phone book. G checkout notebook. What? Why? Checkout notebook. or I think command was this, right? Fail to reference notebook. G branches. Okay, phone book. Let's return to our phone book application. Currently, the numbers that are added to a phone book are not saved to a backend server. Fix this situation. Okay, okay. Let's say that they are not currently added to the handle search. Add a number. So inside this, if is existing set person can get. This is what I'm doing. And instead of that, I would like to do is let me check a few things before I do that. Let me actually get back this one, my commit. And inside that commit, I would like to see the current browsing files, part 2, and inside that src, I will have my, let's say, app.jsx. And how am I handling the data storing to the server? So I am doing new node, set new node this, and I'm having node services as one of the things. Inside that I have a base URL which is something like this. But now it's not nodes, but what is it? What is it? Inside the phone book application, I guess. Uh, and it's persons, right? Okay. Persons. We have persons. Right. So currently the numbers are so we're gonna fix this situation. Okay. So they want me to fix this. Let's say inside this, inside this, can can I, can I do this in add number? What I will do is, let's say, let me just first mess with the code. Axios from Axios. Okay. So in this, let's say return, close this, and this one is inside this. Axios dot update, sorry, post. Then I will have my this URL, this URL, and uh, there is something should be happen, right? What was that? Axios, this new object, right? Mm-mm-mm. Base URL and new object. So I can say version object. After this, let's say if it's work or not, just to check if we are there. Let's do this. Add, let's say Abraham Lincoln. Uh, I don't know. Just put this. And then when I click on add, okay, it added here TUKP, and let's see if it's added here or not. Okay, it added in the server as well with the ID of something like this. So when new object I am only passing this name and number. So where does this ID coming from? Okay, so I have updated my db.json. It gets this ID. Okay, so this is post. Then I will have my dot then. Then inside that dot then I will just pass the let's say should I put like updated like a response or something like that? I don't know. I mean, then I will use response, and inside that I will put this dot then. Rather than concatenating, I will just use response dot data. If it's working or not, just let me check it again. And if I reload this, it should be there. And let's say I am doing Kana Hashimoto. I don't know why did I think of that name. I just spontaneously think of that name right now. Okay, now we got an error. Function, check the render due method. Okay. Mm, response dot data. Let's see. Let's see. Now, what I'm doing is set person empty object I have. So inside this person CSX, I'm just rendering it. This div element, where does this div element come from? Let's see inside this. I have this filter and okay. Let's see this. This is nothing. Filter. Yeah. So this is where div element is coming from. And what does the error say? For each element, list should have okay, this one I can ignore it. And cut type error props dot percent dot filter is not a function, and but it does like store, right? Adding an error boundary to in the filter component. Okay, inside my filter component, what seems to be broken? Props dot filter. So when I added props percent is not a function inside third file third line filter person. Okay. So what's the matter? If I reload this, there shouldn't be any kind of problem, right? But let's see, Michelle Kawasaki. And when I add that is where I'm getting an error. But the debited JSON is like it's added there. And when I add a number, when I click on the let's say inside my persons, when I click on add number, phone book this and this performance form, when I click on add button, type submit, add a number. Okay, let's see inside this add number. Let me do this, clear this, and inside this add number function, I have object new number. I'm checking if 6% is there or not. access.post http. Okay. I don't want to just concatenate, but I want to set the response data, and if possible, I would like to see the data itself if I can. Oh, I can actually. Let's see. If I can do Hashimoto Kawasaki. Okay, filter is working. Killer switch. I'm bad with the name. Okay, so inside this, what I'm doing is this one. But what I want to do is, I just don't want to set response data, but concatenate that part. Is that what does that mean? Mhm. Okay, so it should be added, right? So inside my notes should be added. Create. So inside my app.jsx, what I was doing is inside my add, not object, create set nodes concatenate. Okay, I was still concatenating it. Mm, Let's see if then I can do that. Persons dot concatenate. Damn. Okay. Let's see. Honey Potter. Okay. Okay. Now it's work. Okay, so I fix this. Fix the the person. Fix the new person added to server. GPSO phone book. Okay, so the phone book statement extract the code that handles the communication with the backend into its own module by following the example shown earlier in this part of the course material. Yep, sure, I know what does that mean. So they want me to create another services inside this inside src. Let's create services, and I will have a person.js, and I will import ICOs, and I will create a few function. In that function, I will have let's see const pers person service, and I will do export default. No, it wasn't like this. In my commits, this let's say the node sorties. Okay, now I have to do base URL import, not import, const base URL is equal to this. Let's see, they were directly using something like this. Const get all persons is equal to inside const request axios get base URL dot axios get base URL, and then they want me to return request dot then response to data back to the server. Then I will say const create person. Beside that, I will const request xcs dot post base URL, but it take another, let's say, new person array. Sorry, a new person object, new person, and new person, new person, and all I have to do is return request dot then. I will have response data, right? And I don't want to just update it yet, so let's export this all. Export default, get all, get all persons, create persons. So inside this let's say uh I can do something like this. Get uh, uh, uh mm, how I was managing here. Okay, so import person service from services and person. So person service dot get all person. I'm calling this function. Then I will have dot then method initial initial data set persons with the initial data. And should I put that as well? Okay, let me actually see my implementation so far, if it's working or not. Let's see, it's working perfectly. And since I just want to show the data right now, and let's see inside this axios post method, let me actually update. Now I'm calling node service. Where is my node service? Sorry, person service dot create person. Inside that I am passing the person object, then returning dot then response data. And what I'm doing is set persons dot concate that response. Yeah, let's look at this, if it's working or not. Let's see uh Johnny, John Doe, and let's add in the number. Okay, it's working perfectly fine. So let's see gst g add dot gst gcn update the fetching method in person and create separate service for that. So phone book. Okay, I cleared that as well. Now next step is make it possible for users to delete entries from the phone book by creating the deletion can be done through dedicated button for each person in the phone book list. You can confirm the action from the user by window.confirm method. Okay. So what I know, the associated resource for a person in the backend can be deleted by making a delete request to resource in the blah blah blah. I have to pass the ID, obviously. Okay, 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 okay. So what I see is that I have to I have to create another person inside. I would like to have the person that I'm going to delete, and const request axios dot delete method, and I will have base URL. I will have my base URL. Uh, base URL. Let's see. Let updated URL is equal to base URL plus some ID. How can I do this? Base URL. Base URL. Then I will have a ID that I'm going to pass. Something like this, I guess. Yep. And I will have the new person error here, and I will return something like request dot then response data. New response new persons dot ID, new persons dot ID. Okay, so then I will export this delete person method here, and let's say they are saying it will be something called async, right? Yep. uh so inside my component where I'm displaying the persons array. After that, I have to like also give a button that say delete. Let me see if I can do that or not. Okay, okay, okay. So this will have something. It should have a something, right? Uh, let's say on click method delete person first delete person num. I'll have props dot this. Okay, and inside my add number, I will have another const delete person num method in which I'm going to pass this, and inside that method, I'm going to call. Okay, let's see. What I want to do is I would like to remove that from the so so let's see how I'm adding actually. So based on that, I can at least manage to delete a person. Let's say I will have an existing. So I would like to get when user clicks on it, when user clicks on it, delete person, the first thing I would like to get its ID. So this new person, sorry, this person's object, I would like to get the, let's say, console log person. Let's see if I can get, when I click on this, Ardo Hellas. Okay, person. What I'm getting is person. Uh, uh, I'm getting actually the on-click function, nothing more than that, I guess. Let's say a person's clicked when I delete a person name is come. So in this person, I should have actually persons persons. I would like to know which. Let me actually put my thought here. Get ID that is clicked. Remove that ID from server. Update the server and UI. Uh, for which ID is clicked, how would I know? Is that when on click method is occurred, on click method is occurred, uh, when on click method is occurred, let's see. What I would like to do is get the ID, which is remove that ID from the server, and um, this ID, persons.id. Let me see if I can get ID is equal to persons.id persons, and I would like to console log this ID. What exactly I'm getting at? When I click on Arthohelas, I'm getting the list of object of array, and inside this, I would like to see map function. Let's say x. Inside that, I would like to x dot for not in each element, not in each element. For the ID that I would like to get is let's say uh get ID that is click. So which ID is clicked? How can I be sure of that? So hmm, I think I'm missing something, but let's ask ChatGPT anyway. So this is my app component. I am working on feature that let me delete person from server and update UI as well. My base URL for server is db localhost localhost 3001 persons. Okay, so now inside my delete person num function, I have defined the steps on how will it be performed. But I am confused at how will I get the ID of person. Good, you are now thinking in actual thread flows. UI event identify resource call backend update frontend state. That's okay. And your confusion is well because this is where Soft's event handlers IDs and complete command boundary all start interacting. The key idea is that you already have the ID. It exists inside each person's object. Yep, the trick is pass that ID onto the click handler. Inside person's component, you probably have something else, something like a person's component. Let's see inside my person's component. I do have person's person.id. Yes, yes, I do have person.id. Inside there, on click. Okay, I can pass shade person.id. If I can get, okay, now that I have got this ID, all I have to do is let's say here ID, and the resource should be done. Let's say uh, person service dot delete person. Inside that I will have the ID passed to it, and actually ID only ID passed to it. Then I will have dot then response. Uh, then I will update set new per set persons concat this response. Let's see if this is work or not. Let's see. For example, if I want to create let's say Jonto. Field. Okay, field with status code. Okay, why it is giving me error? Okay, it's undefined. Delete person, delete person, delete persons. Uh, delete person. Okay. Okay, inside my delete person, I am getting this. Uh, let's say I do have already ID. So all I have to do is pass the ID here, and let's see if I pass the ID here, then how will I get the new person? Delete this resource, and let's see what happens exactly. Uh, persons this fail with delete Mary when clicking the person word for step one update delete person. Instead of person, I'm okay. Yeah, inside my app component, I am getting the ID. Call backend delete person. Your service should have. I mean, I do have this return Axios. Okay. Step three, update UI after successful delete. Okay, that okay. So this is what I would like to do. After this, I would like to write this ID. I don't have to pass anything. Instead, I can just pass anonymous function. Let's see now if it work or not. Okay, now I'm not even getting this. I'm not even getting this server. Oh damn, I think it should unintentionally deleted everything. So let me give that back. Uh, let's see. On click add parameters again. Okay, so inside my person's area, I am doing this. Right click. So let's see if I can add some add. I so when I click on this delete, it is deleted. Okay, but then again they told me to use window dot method, right? How can I use this? How can I use this? Window confirm. When clicking on that, confirm confirm the message. Okay. So when clicking on this, let's see. Which I can directly use this. Confirm. Do you want to delete this? Let's see now how it will react when I click on. Okay. Yes. Man, this is something else. This is fun. GST, GST, add dot D. So the reason why my every that deleted from that is because of I was passing directly inside this. I forgot to do this. That's why. And feature of deleting a person number phone book. Okay, finally we have completed it, and I think we will start from this next part. Adding styles to React app. Okay, folks, this is it for today's stream. Thanks for bearing with me. Go